Hello, beautiful soulmates. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Afrique Luxury here. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew this gorgeous dress. It has a collar around the neck and two front pockets. So to get started, you need your ankara print fabric. I folded it into four and I'm measuring the length right now. You want the length to be 60 inches. Yes, 60 inches. And now I'm going to be ruling a straight line at the beginning of my fabric. That will be my starting point. Now I'm going to mark 3 inches from the center point as my back neck width and 1 inch downwards as my neck depth, and we're going to just connect with a nice curve. Next, for my front neck depth, so I'm going to be marking about 12 inches downwards. I'm going to use my ruler to connect down from the neck width to my front neck depth. The front neck depth is the same 3 inches. And now I'm going to be marking our armhole opening. Our sleeve opening is going to be 12 inches. I'm marking it from the shoulder point and I'm going to rule a straight line downwards as well. Next thing, we're going to take our shoulder to bust point. For me, it's 11, and on that point I'm going to mark quarter of my bust measurements, which is 10 inches, and I'm going to add 3 inches for both my ease and sewing allowance, which is 13 inches in total. Next, I'm going to be marking my shoulder to waist point, which is around 16 inches, and then shoulder to hip point, which is about 25 inches. And then on these points, we're going to mark quarter of our waist measurements. Quarter of my waist measurement is 8 inches. I'm going to add 3 inches as well for ease. And now I'm just connecting from the sleeve opening down to the bust and the waist points that we have already marked. And then on my shoulder to hip point, I'm also going to impute quarter of my hip circumference. My shoulder to hip is 25 inches. I'm going to mark that. And then quarter of my hip measurement is 12. Quarter of my hip measurement is 12, and we're going to add 3 inches as always for ease, and then just connect that with a nice curve. If you have your hip curve, it's fine, but if you don't have your hip curve ruler, you can use your free hand to just connect this hip measurement downwards. Now that measurement we have on the hip line is what I'm going to mark all through to the end of the fabric. To the end of the fabric, I'm marking the hip measurements divided by 4 plus 3 inches all the way to the end. Next up, we're going to be cutting. I started with cutting the back neckline and then our shoulder straight down. Next, I'm going to cut the sleeve opening, and after the sleeve opening, just go through all the points that we have already marked, from the bust point down to the waist and also to the hip line, straight down to the end of the fabric. And also I'm going to trim off any excess that I have. Okay, next up I'm going to be deducting 2.5 inches from the center of the front. We're deducting this 2.5 because there's going to be a collar around the neckline down to the end. So now we're going to be joining the shoulder for the two sides, from the shoulder points to the sleeve opening. Now we're going to be attaching the Asoke to the middle of the front. All you have to do is the Asoke is folded into 3 inches in width. So we're going to be placing the open side, right sides facing the fabric, facing the end of the fabric, and then we're going to sew down from the one end to the other with half of an inch sewing allowance, straight down from one end to another. After that, this is what we have our collar all the way around. Next thing we're going to do is to fold in the sleeve opening. We're going to fold it in twice. We're going to fold it in twice and run a straight stitch down. Run a straight stitch from one end to another as well. Next up, we're going to be joining the sides directly from the sleeve opening. You can use half an inch or you can use 1 inch to join the sides from the sleeve opening straight to the end of this gown. After that, this is what we have. So we're going to mark our pocket position. From the shoulder, I am marking 19 inches downwards, and then I'm just going to pin the pockets in place. There will be another dedicated video on how to cut and sew these pockets. So now I'm going to sew down around all the ends of the pockets. As you can see, after pinning it down, I'm sewing the 3 ends. I folded in the edges, and now I'm going to sew it down from one end to the other side of the pocket. Next thing I'm going to do is to hem the bottom of this gown. I'm doing a double fold at the hem line, and I'm just going to sew a straight stitch from one end to the other. After this, we're going to be closing the front, which is the center front that is open. It's not supposed to be open. So from the shoulder, I'm marking 12 inches down that center, and I'm going to just pin it down from the shoulder to 12 inches. We're going to run a straight stitch, and then from the end, I'm just going to pin that point, the 12 inches point at the top, and then from the ends I'm going to mark 17 inches upwards. There will be a slit there, but it depends on you how high you want your slit to be. And then I'm just going to place one part of the Asoke on the other, and I'm going to run a straight stitch from that bottom part all the way to the point I marked at the top. I'm just running a straight stitch all the way to the top. Make sure you use the same color of the thread. Now this is what we have. Everything is looking nice and neat. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section.